Hello, Professor Herbert.
Hi! Welcome to the video for our assignment.
So for this project, we have picked and analyzed the candidate running for US President in the 2020 elections. We will discuss some of the issues he stands for and why he thinks he is the best candidate, as well as tie him back to the lesson learned from our textbook.
For our project, we have picked, drumroll please, Andrew Yang, the New York-born entrepreneur and venture capitalist running for the 2020 Democratic nomination.
In the following minutes, we'll explain two ideas of Mr. Yang's. First, the freedom dividend, which has been the main point he has pushed throughout his campaign. And secondly, we will address his plans for gun control, which our group is researching for the final class project.
Beginning with Mr. Yan's most prominent policy idea, let's talk about the freedom dividend.
If elected president, Yang promises to create a universal basic income of $1,000 a month and $12,000 a year for every American citizen over 18 years old, no strings attached.
Yang's website predicted that implementing the freedom dividend would, quote, permanently grow the economic by 12.56 to 13.1%, or about $2.5 trillion by 2025, and it would increase the labor force from 4.5 to 4.7 million people.
Yang believes this extra source of income will help American citizens maintain a stable lifestyle in the midst of what he calls the greatest technological shift the world has ever seen: automation. Yang highlights the fact that automation has destroyed millions of American jobs and will continue to do so. He even predicts that a third of all Americans will have lost their job within the next 12 years.
Yang hopes that this extra money will give Americans a little more financial security in an era where automation is on the rise.
Okay, next, let's talk about Yang's stance and policies regarding gun control.
Essentially, his proposal is in favor of increasing gun control, but not banning guns. He wants to increase the intensity of background checks for people who sell and/or purchase guns. He plans to implement a licensing system with a 5-year renewal requirement for gun ownership. Additionally, for people who don't want to own guns anymore, Yang seeks to implement a federal buyback program for anyone who wants to voluntarily give up their firearms.
Now, let us explain why we think these two policies are the best out of all the candidates' policies.
Reading Yang's freedom dividend, the reason why I personally believe Yang's policy to be the best connects back to an experience I had last year. In my freshman year, I took a political science class during my first semester. One moment that had stuck with me from the experience was learning that income inequality is one of the biggest issues in the country amongst US citizens. The video the professors showed us indicated that the top 1% of America's citizens currently hold 40% of the entire nation's wealth. This really surprised me, and it made me realize the importance of fixing income inequalities. His unique policy has a real potential of fixing this income inequality issue.
As for the gun control issue, I also believe Yang's position to be the best because he's giving Americans the right to own guns while imposing more restrictions, such as the federal background check and the 5-year licensing renewal requirement to protect the safety of all the American citizens. He's making the best of both worlds.
Moving on, we are going to discuss why Yang is the best candidate ideologically.
Yang, compared to some of his political opponents, is fairly centrist. Prior to politics, Yang served as a venture capitalist, entrepreneur, and business owner. He founded Venture for America, a nonprofit dedicated to attracting college graduates to underdeveloped cities in an attempt to bolster and revitalize the economies of those cities. He has also written the books Smart People Should Build Things, How to Restore Our Culture of Achievement, Build a Path for Entrepreneurs, and Create New Jobs in America, alongside his other book, The War on Normal People, The Truth About America's Disappearing Jobs and Why Universal Basic Income is Our Future. Similar to his opponent, Donald Trump, Yang was not a career politician prior to running for president. And while being a Democrat, he is still a capitalist and businessman with an understanding and respect of the American system. We believe this makes him attractive as a candidate to Republicans who dislike Trump but are still looking for someone who understands them, as well as Democrats who lean more towards the centrist side of their party.
Now, let's turn to our textbook to see how it informs our discussion of Yang and his policies.
So linking to the promises and party positions section from the book, one of the passages states that a candidate may be considered for positions they have taken in the past, and the candidate's positions on an issue as described in his or her platform help mobilize supporters and attract volunteers, activists, interest group endorsements, and contributions. In this case, Andrew Yang experienced great success through Venture for America, which actively aids entrepreneurs in creating jobs in cities like Baltimore, Detroit, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland. Through this, he has already proven his ability to combat the unemployment issue and his ability to win people's trust in doing so. It is also likely that his freedom dividend will garner the support of America's unemployed population, as well as people who have lost their jobs due to automation.
The other section in the textbook discussed is titled, How Do Voters Decide? The book addressed the paradox of voting, defining it as the question of why citizens vote, even though their individual votes stand little chance of changing the election outcome. Andrew Yang personally addresses this issue, raising such question and connecting his policies to a larger portion of the population in order to encourage them to vote. For instance, the freedom dividend policies refer to approximately 40 million Americans living below the poverty line and the 1/3 of American workers who will lose their job to automation.
These common grounds Mr. Yang has established have also become what the book refers to as the voting cues. Voting cues, according to the book, are defined as the knowledge of the candidate's position that the citizens will use while voting in an election. Yang's freedom dividend and gun control policies are created directly with the intention of being beneficial for every individual U.S. citizen. In order to humanize himself in the eyes of American citizens, he also emphasizes his role as a father and husband and his desire to provide a better country for his children. All of this combined with his background of successfully founding VFA comes together to make Yang a grounded, centrist, and realistic candidate.
It is for these reasons that we believe Andrew Yang would make a fantastic US president.
Thank you for viewing and happy Halloween.
Bye!
Bye!